What if Tom Holland swings over to the Sonyverse, stays there, and we keep the new noir Spider-Man? What's up, and welcome to Beside the Point here on Nerdy Blurb TV, and thank you for joining us for this awesome episode of Raw Talk, where we talk about things off the cuff, where the camera continues to roll so that it can catch cool, genuine conversations that me and a fellow creator, good friends, talk about, nerd out with each other, because that's what we do here at Nerdy Blurb TV. We like to keep things nerdy, and we like to do it with other people. Thank you so much to Daniel, the Stuff of Legend, who had us on his show to talk about the theories that we had for when Spiderman Far From Home was coming out. And I thought it would be kind of interesting to show a little bit about what we talked about and for you to go and check out his full video over at his channel. Even though things didn't really add up, it would be really interesting to hear your thoughts on the matter. Did you think that that was going to happen, or what were your own thoughts? It's a mixed bag in here. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Be sure to comment down below, and when you do so, after you're done, go and check out Daniel from the Stuff of Legend, because if you're a nerd, he will fulfill all of your nerdy needs over at his channel, The Stuff of Legend. Check him out, tell him who sent you, and enjoy this video.
Spider-Man Far From Home, it's coming out very soon, right? And so I wanted to get your thoughts quickly on first impressions from the trailers. So, like, what are your thoughts, just the gist, your feelings, coming out of Endgame, and just where does it take your mind when you watch those trailers?
Man, okay, great question, because right out of Endgame, the number one thing that I was just like huge question mark that I know has to be answered is that why the freak is everyone still the same age? Why is it? What happened those 5 years? I can't remember during the snap, and for some reason, all of the Spider-Man cast is still the same. That's one thing, and that's kind of a hard one. I'm waiting for the movie on that. Maybe waiting on a few movies to explain that. But that was like the biggest one. Like, everyone's fine, everyone's the same, nothing kind of changed. But here's another huge one for me, is that no way Mysterio is a good guy. No way.
Yeah. Mysterio has never really been the guy pulling the strings. Mysterio has always been a guy that's either operating on his own or he's hired by someone else. So I have a strong theory. We know that Nick Fury was snapped, and then the unsnapping happened. Mm-hmm. So he is back because he's unsnapped. He wasn't killed. But was the Nick Fury that was snapped, was that actually Nick Fury, or was that a deep cover someone else, like Chameleon, for instance?
Right.
Chameleon is someone that has been known to pull the strings from time to time. He often does work for other people, but like, he gets contracted out. But I think that if Chameleon is maybe in the mix, we already know that there's plenty of villains in the Spider-Man universe. This is something that I think has been the biggest boon for the Spider-Man franchise in the MCU over the other franchises, is that the movie doesn't focus on one or two villains. It shows that there's countless villains in the MCU. There is a bad guy that is above him pulling the strings. He will be the primary bad guy we see in the film, but he's not the brains of the operation. There is someone bigger than him that is seeking to take and utilize Stark Tech. They must be someone it's probably very likely. This is where like the theories get really deep. The Avengers Tower was sold in Homecoming. They never identified the buyer, and they did this on purpose. I have a video about this, and I think we've talked about this before. That's actually how we met, was you sought me out about my Homecoming theories. So
yeah, it is so sick. And then you and I did one on ours my channel about the whole like crossover event, and here we are a year later, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Right. Yeah, a year later, dude. It's amazing what can happen in just a year, dude. Another couple people I think that it could be possibly, which might involve other characters being there. But you talk about like, you talk about Dr. Octopus. Traditionally, he works for other people that are more intelligent, but he would have to get funding from someone else like Norman Osborn, who doesn't have to be the Green Goblin, just has to still be manipulative, conniving, trying to run for office or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And Dr. Octopus is his guy until he gets betrayed. So he could theoretically be working for Oscorp at that time, and we could be looking at Dr. Octopus pulling the strings for Mysterio. There's so much that could be happening. Overstuffing with characters you think would be a problem, but after seeing Infinity War, Civil War, Endgame, even Black Panther had a lot of people in it. There's a lot of movies that we've seen where now it's like it doesn't really matter how many characters you have in a film if you do it right, if you know how to prioritize the storyline. You can have many characters, but if you stick to a singular story, you'll be fine. Don't have multiple storylines, just have multiple characters in one storyline, and you'll be okay.
Absolutely.
And so
I agree with that. There's also something that we should probably address when it comes to how many characters and properties and all of that is, and that's Sony. I mean, we all know it's common knowledge that Sony definitely owns Spider-Man. It's only a tender mercy that they're allowing Marvel to kind of do their thing, and that's actually where a big part of my theories come from, because I really think we're gonna see a merge, and I think we're gonna see a merge for the better. At least this is what I hope, because honestly, dude, everybody bags on Garfield's performance and his movies. I did not mind them. I did not mind the Garfield movies. The second one, not so much. But like, I was pretty stoked on a Sinister Six when we saw all those lineup of all the costumes and everything. I was just I was so pumped on that. And even though Jamie Foxx was just like,
oh my god,
I wasn't feeling Jamie Foxx, it doesn't change the fact of how excited I was for that. Even Paul Giamatti in the Rhino, dude, I was digging it.
Yeah.
And a part of me still wants to see that. Sony still owns all of that stuff. Who's to say that can't happen? Here's a crazy theory for you. I mean, we're talking villains and everything. We know that Sony's gonna continue with Venom because of the success there. We know that they're doing a Morbius movie. There you go. We know that there's talks of a Silk movie, which isn't a villain. It's actually a protagonist, like a female Spider-Man, which would be so cool. But I don't really think Sony's gonna settle on her being the main protagonist. I think they're going to one day bring back Spider-Man. Now here's the craziest thing out of all of this. This is so many people will look like just raise an eyebrow towards this, but like the Black Spider-Man that we see in Far From Home, the kind of noir costume with the goggles and everything, we don't know who's wearing that. We have no idea. Like, we never see Peter put it on. We never see him take it off. We never see that it's him wearing it. We know that Mysterio is from another multiverse. He's from a different Earth. He's not from this Earth. He's from a different one. Who's to say that he got out of that one to get out of the noir Spider-Man, who's his Spider-Man, you know? And him swindle his way into ours, lying about who he is, and him being a mentor, kind of like another dad Iron Man figure to Peter, to try and do. And here's the craziest part, is that the Flash TV series, where Eobard Thawne comes in and becomes the mentor to Barry Allen, what if that's happening? What if he comes in from another multiverse to kind of mess up the other Spider-Man, and then we see this noir Spider-Man? What if they swap? What if they either swap? What if Tom Holland swings over to the Sonyverse, stays there, and we keep the new noir Spider-Man? I mean, kind of crazy, but like both studios win, because they're both, and I'm not saying they're both going to be played by Tom Holland. I mean, we could get new stuff, and Tom Holland dropping freaking spoiler bombs like crazy, talking about trilogy movies. We never really talked about what studio he was talking about. We know that Venom has been in the talks of maybe rumored in Far From Home, which I totally don't believe. But like, I really think that we will one day see Spider-Man come back into the Sonyverse. who's to say that the multiverse wouldn't be the best way to do that?
I think there is a multiverse. He's not from it. And another theory that would still line up, because I do think that, you know, it's not even really a debate whether the multiverse exists or not. We know that it does. Doctor Strange, that's already done. That's settled. People are still discussing like it is or is not, or it might not be. Yeah. But the question really is, how will that be used, or will it even be used? So that to me is like, this could be a huge part of him taking advantage of the whole world being devastated, PTSD, brokenhearted. They mourn their losses, and now they have their people back. They're caught in like tragedy and overwhelmed with emotion. If he just says he was from another universe and the snap ripped him over here, who's to say that that didn't happen, except that he is still lying about it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it didn't really rip a hole in a universe. It just brought people back that were already there. That was all the snap was used for. So unless they're going to go that direction and say that because that much power was exerted, it did in fact rip a hole unintentionally, then okay, you can do that. I certainly don't think that's how mutants are getting in here. I think that that will frustrate a lot of people, and I think that the Russos are probably smarter than that. They've all, like I've said, they've already, you know, in one of my videos before, if you guys haven't seen it, it's the mutants in the MCU explained. They've already laid the groundwork for mutants in the MCU. They're already there. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you check out my video. I'll explain it to you really quick.
Multiverse, Spider-Verse really is something that fans love, and I'm not referring to the Into the Spider-Verse animated movie. I'm talking about the concept of the fact that there are multiple different Spider-Men and all of that kind of stuff. People love that. It's a pretty huge pillar of the Spider-Man lore when it comes to his comic books and even cartoon series. I mean, there was a lot of that. I think possibly the way that they introduce the multiverse to us is a sort of Spider-Verse-esque kind of feel, and we're seeing multiple Spider-Men, and that's why we see multiple suits in there. Who knows? That's my personal theory, but like, who's to say? I mean, yeah, we got an overload of villains that I thought they balanced really, really well in Homecoming. I really liked that. Some people didn't, but like, I like what you're saying, that they could possibly do the same thing again, bring in Chameleon, make him, I mean, Nick Fury and all of that. I love the idea of more villains. So why not, with more villains, why not throw in more
Spider-Man?
Superhero? Yeah, more Spider-Man. That I feel like that would be a cool mix between our two theories. If it's really Garfield, I mean, it's not, but if it's Garfield underneath the Black Noir costume, I will lose my freaking mind. That would be freaking amazing.
Bro, everyone will lose their mind.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in here today at Nerdy Blurb TV and checking out this video. Consider subscribing if you're into this kind of stuff, because we like to keep it nerdy here and interact with cool individuals such as yourself. Have a great day.